Welcome to That's Good Sports Week 3 AAF Predictions. I'm Brandon, God bless me, Perna. I'm not even sure God himself could have predicted the popularity of AAF football here on That's Good Sports. But not even I, or God, can save the AAF from almost certain failure. In a touching tribute to the USFL, the AAF had payroll problems after Week 1. They had to take a $250 million investment from Carolina Hurricanes majority owner Tom Dundon to make Week 1 payroll, making that the first time a hurricane didn't cost $250 million in damages. Now, the new AAF commissioner, Billy McFarland, could not be reached for comment. But that didn't stop me from putting together a Week 3 AAF prediction episode. That's Good Sports. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can. I also have Big Dick Patreon shout-outs for your daily dose of Dieter McBusiness, TK Vang, Mike Harvey, Banana Hammock, Drew Wyman Fafarola, Carlos Olivia for smartly upping his pledge to 666, Matt Kilgore Jr., Nick Sabater, and Joseph Andrew Castillo Pretty. Thank you very much for your donations. Patreon is how this channel pays its bills, stays functioning, keeps the lights on. You can donate at patreon.com/that'sgoodsports, or I will die. First game, we've got the Arizona Hotshots at the Salt Lake Stallions. AZ 4.5-point favorites on the road. This is the first rematch of the league. Who improved? Who got worse? And will a true rivalry be born? Probably not. I think each team plays each other twice. This seems a little too soon for a rematch, just like it seems too soon to have Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan in a biopic. Shouldn't we wait for the Hulkamaniac to be dead before we re-examine his dirty secrets? The sex tape, the racist audio tape, and worst of all, how he made an entire career out of staged assaults. Sound familiar? Now the Hotshots, despite nearly losing to the worst football team on earth, the Express, last week, are still ranked number 1 in PFF's power rankings, which I think is stupid, as they committed 5 turnovers and 2 failed 4th down conversions. I don't want to live in a football world where we reward mediocrity. Oh, wait, no, yes I do. The future of this show entirely depends on rewarding mediocrity, so go Hotshots! Go! Here's why we're still on the Hotshots though. Quarterback, John Wolford. Receivers, Josh Huff and Rashad Ross, and a trio of effective running backs that put up close to 200 yards on Memphis. The Apollos and Hotshots look like the best teams because their quarterbacks can throw the ball and their receivers can catch the ball. That is the simplest, most fundamentally basic analysis I have ever given in any football video while being serious. And it's true. The Hotshots did put together 2 long touchdown drives in under 5 minutes to win last week. That's also a sign of a good football team. The Stallions have all of the signs of a good football team, but with none of the results, which is a weird way to call them a shitty team. Until they figure out their quarterback situation, they are going to keep losing. And they have a very talented defensive front. Last week, Karter Schult dominated. The week before, it was defensive lineman Mike Purcell. So besides quarterback, the Stallions' weakness is missed field goals and turnovers in the red zone. I'd like to see the Stallions win their home opener at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Mostly because Rice-Eccles Stadium reminds me of one of my childhood best friends, Brandon Eccles, who I have ironically never seen eat rice. Eccles the rice hater is what we used to call him at lunch. My nickname, of course, was Nipple Hair Perna. Fun, brings back those memories. I wish I could pick the Stallions in an upset, but again, Josh Woodrum is still nursing a hamstring injury, and unless they go with Matt Linehan, Austin Allen isn't going to get it done. The Hotshots will win because their quarterback situation is so good that their first overall selection, QB Trevor Knight, is not only a backup quarterback, but a special teams player. He's covering punts, while Stallions quarterbacks can't even cover the fucking spread. Memphis Express versus Orlando Apollos. Apollos biggest favorites of the week at 15.5 points. Classic trap game for the Apollos. I love that I predicted Memphis would be the team to shit on, and they are turning into the team to shit on. Someone in the recap episode said Christian Hackenberg got better and played at a higher level than I gave him credit for. That's true. He went from 87 passing yards and an interception to 102 passing yards and a rushing TD with 0 picks. He went from horrendous to just terrible. Maybe next week he will be bad. And by the end of the season, we'll be calling him Nathan Peterman good. Christian Hackenberg is averaging 3.9 yards per passing attempt. The only quarterback with a number lower than that is, shit, Nathan Peterman at 3.7. My prediction was right. The Apollos will win by the amount of room Big Dick Nick's Taylor has to let out of the inseam of Nick's pants just so he can walk straight. Garrett Gilbert has yet to throw a pick, and he has 4 touchdowns and an astonishing 11.7 yards per attempt. Here's what I'm not sure of yet, though. Is Garrett Gilbert very good, or is he just lucky to have 4 wide receivers ranked in the top 10 of the league by Pro Football Focus, including number 1 overall and Charles Johnson, a guy who had nearly 500 yards with the Vikings in 2014? There are only 7 wide receivers in the league with over 100 receiving yards. 3 of them play for Orlando. I'm so high on Orlando, I am currently rewatching every Orlando Bloom movie, including Good Doctor, which was a very misleading name.
There's some really shocking stuff in there about this one young doctor.
Bad doctor, bad movie. The Apollos found a running game last week, which they probably won't even have to use against Memphis. The Apollos may have the best cover corner in the league in Keith Reeser, and if Memphis has any success, it will be behind Zac Stacy running through a subpar Orlando run defense, keeping Garrett Gilbert on the sideline. The how you beat the Patriots formula. Apollos win. Birmingham Iron versus Atlanta Legends. The Iron may be undefeated on the field, but they're also winning the even more important race in the world of social media. They are currently the most popular AAF team on Twitter, crossing the 50,000 follower mark this week. 50,000 more followers, and they'll be promoting Fire Festival 2 in no time. And with another 50K followers, the AAF won't have to take another $250 million loan just to pay its employees. Iron quarterback Luis Perez is so good, he's managed to go undefeated without ever throwing a touchdown pass in the AAF. That's because Trent Richardson is currently the leading scorer in the AAF. That's right, the guy that got cut from the Colts and the Raiders is the Jerry Rice of the Alliance. To be fair to Perez, he's had roughly 99% of his passes dropped over the first 2 weeks. They might want to take a page out of Jerry Rice's playbook and dip their hands into some stickum so Perez can make it back to the NFL, where he belongs, or at least that's what everyone keeps saying. We'll see how he does week 3. The real strength of the Iron is their defense, which apparently is the only style of football in Alabama. Just like how family reunion is the most popular style of marriage in Alabama. Or is that Arkansas? Either way, if someone says family style in the deep South, don't assume you're eating Italian. Their defense has allowed just 9 points through their first 2 games, and based on the way Atlanta has played the first 2 weeks, they have a chance to improve to 3-0. Like the Stallions, Express, and the Fleet, the Legends have not found a reliable passer. So just half the teams in the league don't have a quarterback. Matt Sims is the 5th leading passer in the AAF with 286 passing yards after 2 full games. Christian Hackenberg being the only quarterback who is less productive after 2 starts. Now, after he missed week 1, if Atlanta wants to get their first win, they will continue to increase Akrum Wadley's production. He only had 12 rushing yards on 4 attempts last week, still better than Richardson's average, but he carved out 70 receiving yards, catching all 8 of his targets. My only complaint about Akrum Wadley is his name. It is so close to being a great reference to Seinfeld dentist Tim Whatley, played by Bryan Cranston, or Batman Arkham Knight. Even I am above reaching that far for a joke. And now, I really just want to see Bryan Cranston play Batman. The Iron are 7-point favorites on the road, and I agree they will win this game by at least a touchdown. The San Antonio Commanders versus San Diego Fleet, our second rematch of the week. The Battle of the Sands, which, if you love typography, is a real controversy with all of those pompous assholes who still love serifs. Serifs died with typewriters, dickwads. Now, the city of San Diego, if they were smart, they would do some cross-promotion and have Manny Machado night where everyone plays at roughly 50% speed and takes cheap shots on the other team. Think about Vontaze Burfict at about 1/3 of the intensity. I heard Marvin Lewis last week say Burfict was the emotional leader of the Bengals. Saying Burfict's a leader of any kind is like calling Antonio Brown the poster boy for humility, or calling Antonio Brown Mr. Big Chest.
Me, Mr. Big Chest. Big Chest for now on. Big Chest Brown for now on. Don't even call me AB. Just call me Big Chest. Yeah, Mr. Big Chest.
Calling Big Ben Mr. One Chin and Le'Veon Bell Mr. Perfect Attendance. I think the guy to watch on the Commanders is receiver DeMarcus Ayers. He had a huge impact week 2 after missing week 1 with an injury. He's got a good starting quarterback in Logan Woodside, which is more than you can say for San Diego, whose only highlights have been quarterback Mike Bercovici getting decapitated and Philip Nelson playing hot potato with the football. I still refuse to believe that one of Philip Rivers' sons or daughters isn't old enough to take over at quarterback for this team. Once the Rivers take over, this team is set at quarterback for the next 50 years. If the Fleet have anything to build off of, it's that running back Ja'Quan Gardner is tied as the league's leading rusher with 159 yards on the season. It should also be noted that more people attended last week's Commanders game than the LA Chargers saw at home all of last season. It's also important to note that this game is going head-to-head with the Oscars on Sunday night. I think if you're smart, you parlay San Antonio at +2 with Black Klansman at +2,800 to win Best Picture. If you can hit on that bet, you'll probably have enough money to buy any AAF team you want and actually pay their players. Until one of the Rivers kids demands the first $1 million AAF salary to feed his family of 15. Family style. Thanks for watching prediction episode here on That's Good Sports. Please, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can do it. You can do it if you put your mind to it. All right? I'm on Twitter, Instagram at Brandon Perna if you can follow me there. And give my friend at Wilkie6 a follow for helping me write football videos for the internet.